Fred here for Tuesday Tent Talks. And this week we're going to talk about sewing machines. A lot of you guys have asked me about what sewing machines to get, what can I use to do simple gutters, tent bags, door surrounds, general repair. I'm not going to get into the whole repair part of it today. If you guys want me to do a Tuesday Tent Talk about that, write into us at Tuesday Tent Talk, ttt@wemaketents.com, and we can do that. What we're going to talk about is just general sewing machine basics today. And what we've got here is a Juki LU563 single needle machine. Just starting out, I would recommend going to a single needle machine instead of a multi-needle machine. More needles, more bobbins, more problems. So stay with a single needle machine. One of the things that I did when I bought a couple of my first machines is I bought one and it didn't have a reverse. So if you do get a single needle machine, I would recommend getting the Juki, the LU563. Make sure it's got a reverse. Simple, basic. It comes through the thread tree. Usually is set up. I would highly recommend taking a picture of that when you get your machine, or ask if they have a manual so it shows you how to thread the top side of the machine. To move the needle, we're going to take our hand on the hand crank wheel and just pull it from 12 o'clock right down to 6 o'clock, and we can do a slight stitch that way. So I want to take this off, and I need to lift the presser foot, and I can do it from behind here, or I can do it with my thigh right here. This machine came off her floor, so it was tucked in, so somebody liked to use the hand lift instead of the thigh lift. I'll pull that out, trim those threads. Okay, they had pulled it off the floor, and I wanted to make sure it was set up before I did it. I'm going to talk a little bit about the bobbin. The bobbin is the bottom thread, and we're going to show you a couple different bobbins here. Bobbins come in all different sizes, so what you want to do, and they're different heights, so you want to make sure you get the right bobbin for the size machine you have. Usually they'll come with a couple of these, what they call bobbin casings, and you can wind your own thread onto it. We here at Fred's Tents use a pre-wound bobbin. They come with a paper wrapper sometimes. Sometimes they'll just have like a little wax coating to hold the thread in place. But make sure you don't change sizes of bobbin because they are different thicknesses, and that'll give you some trouble on the machine. So this particular machine uses a U bobbin. Now, why would we go to a bigger bobbin than a smaller bobbin? Our thread is thicker, and I want to talk a little bit about the thread. The smaller the number, the thinner the thread is. So we're using a 1/38 thread, which is a real common thread for general purpose sidewalls, gutters, minor repairs. Getting into pole tents and where I've got a lot of webbing and a plate there, I would probably step up to like a 207 or 270. And the numbers aren't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They sort of jump 69 to 90, 98, 138, 207, 270, and on up. But I think if you stay general repair, get back to this machine, a 138 thread, that's a great size thread to run through here. But that bigger bobbin will put more thread on there, so you're not stopping as often to change out the bobbins. I'm going to change this bobbin out just to show you how to change a bobbin out. I'm going to lift this little spring up, pull this little paper cap. I had a little thread left in there, so I'm going to leave that one in there. Now, if this paper cap comes off, you can leave it. Let's see if I can get that bobbin out. There, I got it. Okay, so we can show you how to do that. So I'm going to take a new one, and you want to find out, there's a little tail on it, find out which way it goes, and you always want to put this in clockwise. So if I had two needles, it possibly would not run counterclockwise. On this particular one, there's a scarf of the needle, which means the curve of the needle. So we'll put that bobbin in there, running clockwise. Turn my hand here by hand from 12 to 6 again. It's going to pick up that thread. Can you see that thread in that video? See that coming around? The thread's coming around. It's going to pick up that bottom thread, and then I want to pull that tail right through. Another good thing that I learned about with sewing machines too. If you can have one operator on one machine, that's a lot better. It prevents all the he did it, she did it, he broke it. So if you can get one person on the machine, all these little red dots, usually they'll set it up. That's all where you can put a little sewing machine oil in to keep it lubricated. I'm just going to sew this banner. I just cut a little piece of black thread. I did it on black so you could see the white thread a little bit easier than just sewing a white piece. What I want to do, and what a lot of people will do when they start sewing, is these two tails. So I've got the bottom thread and the top thread right here. They tend to get them around and they get caught up into the thread. You always want to make sure they're on that side of the machine. The other thing about this machine, the Juki, is that it's got a walking foot. If you look at the foot, it'll go down, so I'm sewing, and the foot comes up and then grabs the foot and pushes it back. It's called a walking foot. It makes it a little bit easier on this heavy fabric. If I was just sewing an apron or some clothing or something, I might not need a walking foot. But you can see the foot going up and down. So I'm just going to sew this to the end. And then I just want to finish that stitch up. Lift my feed dog down, up, I should say. Make sure that bobbin loosens up. And then there again, I want to make sure those two tails are pushed to the other side. I'll turn it over. And then I'm just going to start again. Sew back, lock those stitches, and the other thing this machine, Tim, if you can get down over here, is it's got the servo motor. These are the newer motors on the sewing machine. If you get one, an old traditional motor that has a clutch on it, the nice thing on the servo motors is it's got a dial. So this dial right here, you can slow the machine down. So if you've got somebody that's starting out that doesn't know how to sew and the machine seems like it's going too fast, you can turn that servo motor down. Not mandatory, and I wouldn't even recommend it on the first one. If you just get a standard clutch motor, that will probably be more than enough for you. So I'm just going to finish this little banner, this little sign, whatever I want to make out of here. So I'm going to start again, just back up a little bit. So there's my reverse. So if I didn't have a reverse, let me just back up. This is just a scrap, so I'm going to back up here a little bit. So if I didn't have a reverse, I'd have to sew down, lift the thread up, the foot dog, pull the thread out, get a little bit of thread, and then go back and then set it down, and then hope I don't come over that thread. So that's what I'd have to do if I didn't have a reverse. But with a reverse, I could just go in and back up. Just general basics. I hope you enjoyed this talk on a single needle Juki LU563. Don't forget to like us on YouTube and log in and tell us if you have a topic that you'd like to talk about at TTT, WeMakeTents.com. See you next Tuesday for Tuesday Tent Talks.